Hello everyone, I'm Paul Dunleavy-Bletter, the editor of CDN Computer Dealer News at the Women of Impact event in Toronto. Joining me today is Patricia Florissi, the Global CTO of Sales for EMC Corporation. Patricia, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
So Patricia, have we moved the needle at all with women in IT? We definitely have an imbalance here in Canada, for example, where we have a 1 million worker shortfall in the ICT sector by 2020, and the current ratio is 75 to 25% for men. Have we moved the needle at all?
I think that is very, very hard to say, but I think that we are making good strides around moving the needle. I think that there are a lot of incentives to put in place to attract women to the workforce, and there is more work to be done. I would like to see more work done around starting as early as middle school and high school to actually raise awareness and educate women around the field of STEM, what the day-to-day looks like, and what are the opportunities. I think there are a lot of misconceptions of what an engineer or a scientist or a computer scientist actually does on a daily basis.
Right.
And the more that we help to educate, the more that we are going to have women in the workplace.
So you are a woman in a very senior role at EMC in a male-dominated industry of IT. How did you go about breaking the glass ceiling?
I think that one of the true things that really helped me was that I wasn't so self-aware that I was in a room with only male.
Okay.
And I think I clearly remember that one of the first presentations I gave at EMC, I went to a room, and I was so focused on the presentation and what I needed to do that when I got out, someone asked me, how does it feel like to be the only woman in a room with 42 men? And that's only when I really became aware that I was the only woman. So I think that if you try not to make that one of the biggest problems that you have, and focus on actually delivering what you need to, that helped a lot. I think that it also helped to be myself. I never tried to be somebody else to actually fit into the environment. I try to be authentic more than try to fit in, and sometimes it helped, sometimes it didn't, but at least I had one less thing to worry about. I didn't have to pretend.
So I guess basically focus on the job at hand, because that's what you're hired for, instead of worrying about these other things.
Right.
Yeah. So one of the mega trends is big data in the IT industry. Can big data actually help lessen the gender diversity gap in IT, in your opinion?
I surely hope so, because it's not just big data, it's big data analytics, right?
Okay.
We are entering an era of data analytics driven decision making in a digital world, and I think that data analytics, the ability to actually have a logical thinking, that to have an inclination for math, an inclination for statistics or for computer science, is gender independent. And I think that we have a huge opportunity to actually get better numbers of women in IT in this decade to come.
Okay, so you're a panelist at this event tonight here in Toronto, and it has a very interesting title, Transforming the Face of IT. How do you see the face of IT transforming in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think it's major. I think that we typically say, oh, because we are living in an area of cloud, mobile, social, and big data, and it is compounded by the Internet of Things. I think more than actually looking at or understanding that those 5 things are happening is the fact that they are happening at the same time.
Right.
I think that is the transformational piece, when you have those forcing functions fueling each other and accelerating the innovation process. And I typically make a joke. Suppose that we as human society disappear tomorrow.
Okay.
And in a couple of 100 years from now, some extraterrestrial figures would pop up into Earth and trying to figure out who we were and what we were going through when we disappeared. And equally, you could have a group that would say, oh, they were going through this area of scientific enlightenment because they were now capable of sequencing DNA in a matter of days at less than $1,000, and they were going to make major discoveries from a science perspective. They had rovers and drones looking at the rovers in space, the drones actually having spatial pictures that we could never have before. So it was an era of scientific enlightenment. Then another group could come in and say, no, they were going through social revolution. They were relearning how to collaborate and communicate through social and mobile devices.
That's interesting.
And that was never done before, and they were always connected and so on and so forth, which was also true. And then another group could say, no, you got it all wrong. They were going through a period of business Darwinism, where every business was becoming digital. New businesses were being invented at an accelerated pace. And I would say that all three groups would be absolutely right. So this is a very, very special moment in history that IT is shaping the way we actually live from a social perspective, the discoveries that we are going to make from a scientific perspective, and how we work from a business perspective. So I'm very excited.
Wow, sounds really interesting. Well, thank you very much for your time, Patricia. Really appreciate it. Best of luck to you at the Women of Impact event tonight. And that's it for me, Paulo Donnelly Bletto, for CDN Computer Dealer News. Thanks for watching.